Hello, everybody, and welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I'm your host, Peter, and joining me today, I have two co-hosts. Our moderator from our Anime Watch Club, we have Pat. Pat, how's it going
Hello,
today?
hello everyone. It's going good. I'm happy to be here, happy to help out, and excited to give some hot takes and some ideas. And I know you're listening, Japan. Please listen to me, and I promise you, you'll do better. You'll do better out west. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
And my second co-host today, joining me is HazTik. HazTik, how's it going today, my friend?
It's going good. I'm interested on what you guys think are gonna be announced, and I can't wait to say one thing that is gonna trigger you.
And
Oh
then,
boy.
and then, as always, Pat's camera cuts off, but we're catching it early. So the what we're going to be talking about today is that most of the cons that the big cons that happen during the year are coming up and they're all canceled. And so a lot of the news is just up in the air, like what's going to happen. So what we're going to do today is play a prediction game of what we think is going to happen at particular cons. And we're mainly going to focus on Anime Expo and Crunchyroll Expo, just because those are what we think the two biggest are in terms of news for North America, at least. So we're just going to give our takes and see if we are right 3 months down the road or if we have the worst takes in the world. So it's just going to be like a really fun game. Then we're just going to talk about it and see if we think our ideas are dumb. So I'm going to start things off, and then you guys just bounce off whatever happens. So I'm going to
Sounds
start
good.
with Crunchyroll Expo. And
Okay.
we saw that this year that Crunchyroll added their partnership with Webtoons. And we are getting God of High School, currently airing Tower of God, and Noblesse, that's probably happening in the fall. So my prediction, this is not really a hot take or anything, is that they're going to continue with the partnership. I think that we are going to get Tower of God Season 2 announced. I think that we are going to get, I don't know if you guys are big Webtoons guys, but there is a webtoon called Unordinary. I think that is going to get an adaptation.
Mhm.
And then my third, because they did 3 webtoons this year, so I think I'll do 3 again next year. And I'm just hoping that they do my favorite webtoon is called Let's Play. So do you guys have any thoughts about Crunchyroll and their webtoon partnership?
That's definitely something I wrote down. In my notes that I made very quickly, I wrote down just more webtoons. So that's all I can really contribute to it. But I can definitely see Tower of God getting a second season announced. It's doing really well. It's really popular. I'm enjoying it, and I don't like shonen, so that's how you usually can tell that a shonen's going to do well. Well, maybe not with Black Clover, but whatever. Uh, Maybe not, but you know what? It does well, so that's good for them. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see. I've heard of that Unordinary show before. It's definitely something that people have talked about with webtoons. But I barely have enough time to read manga that I can't stay caught up on webtoons as well. So I can't really comment too much on specific ones. But I definitely do see this partnership's going well. Sounds like the high school whatever one is going to be really popular as well,
Yep.
just right off the bat, unless it's really done poorly. But I doubt that.
It's Mappa,
And
so I think it's going to be very well done.
oh, if it's Mappa, then it's gonna be entertaining no matter what, whether it's well done or not, from my experience with Mappa. So, but I think it could go well. I definitely think there will be more webtoons. I think that's a very fair prediction.
Hasek, do you have any thoughts on the webtoons and Crunchyroll?
So I actually just went through a phase of going back to Webtoon because I uh, I got in. Well, I didn't get in. I logged into it like maybe a year ago or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, the only thing that was really anime style that I felt like you get an adaptation was Unordinary, and it's the only webtoon I ever caught up with. Um, so I could definitely. I'm surprised it didn't come out in the first wave because
Me
I feel like
too.
it set the standard for webtoon in terms of like anime style webtoon. Um, in terms of Tower of God getting a second season, I don't see that happening only because I feel like what I've read of God of High School, minus one part that I feel like could be removed entirely. If they adapt it well, it's going to be even more popular than Tower of God
Oh,
because I
okay.
feel like Tower of God is it's a little less friendly to people trying to get into it than I would say God of High School is because God of High School feels a lot more like Dragon Ball and is just like fighting and action and hype.
Yep.
Um, and so I think that will probably get a second season if they do second seasons at all instead of just getting new anime in or new webtoons in. For third spot, I don't know who they would
The
put,
fuck? Sorry. Pardon me.
but uh, but I've been reading Dicers, and I really want that to get an adaptation. I
How
think
many chapters
that
does that have? Do you know?
that has like 400, maybe 386, I think.
Okay.
Um, it has a lot, and I think especially depending on certain other anime that come out, I feel like we might be able to see, or like how anime is doing in general, because I haven't kept up with certain shows such as SAO or the demand for like a Rising of the Shield Hero for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Dicers could fill that type of anime with like game things. So yeah, Let's Play is really cool though. I haven't caught up on it enough. I might have to switch that vote once I do though.
Yeah, I'm just a big rom-com guy. But I think this is also going to move into what I was thinking that Crunchyroll is going to start doing. So we're seeing a lot of streaming services moving towards their own platforms. So, for example, if I say HBO, your immediate thoughts are maybe like Game of Thrones, The Wire, Sopranos, that type of stuff like that. And then now we have Peacock coming out. So now if you think NBC, you think like Friends, you think Parks and Rec or something like that. So I think what Crunchyroll is going to start doing is moving their platform to start targeting for their specific shows. So when you think Crunchyroll, you think X. And so what I'm thinking that they're going to do this year, I think this might be like a really bad take, but I think that what they're going to start doing is licensing specific shows onto their platform, only their platform, and then making it that brand. And with that, I'm thinking it's since they have been taking over the Isekai Quartet thing, I think we are going to be seeing Konosuba Season 3,
Yep.
Tanya the Evil Season 2, Overlord Season 4 has already been announced that it will be made, but it hasn't been like announced of like when it's happening or anything like that. So I do think we're getting an announcement on Overlord Season 4. And then with the hint on, if this is a spoiler if you haven't seen Isekai Quartet Season 2, but Cautious Hero is in
Yep.
Isekai Quartet Season 2. I think that we're also going to be getting an announcement on Cautious Hero Season 2, and we're going to be seeing a platform that Crunchyroll will be building, and I think it's going to focus on isekais. And I think it's like when you think of Crunchyroll, you're going to be thinking of these 5 shows or like these 4 shows, and I think right now they're targeting isekais. So what's your guys' thoughts? That might be a shit take, but that's just my 2 cents.
I think that makes sense because one of the things that I also wrote down was immediately when I was thinking of Crunchyroll Con, I was like, they've been buying the rights to all of Konosuba. They've been doing all the dubs and all the languages. They've been doing the movie now. They have streaming on their service, and they helped fund the movie coming to the States too when it originally debuted. Like
Yep.
they've definitely been stamping their name all over Konosuba. So I thought what I wrote down was Konosuba season 3 funded by Crunchyroll. So
Yep.
like and that so where they would have exclusivity rights similar to how Funimation has exclusive rights to
Yep.
Kaguya-sama, like something along those lines. I think that that's taking it a step further, and I think that's very what you've said at least is taking it a step further. I think that's a very interesting way it could be applied, where they do essentially take over the isekai genre, but at the same time, I don't know, that's tough because like when I so like you said with like Peacock, you picture certain shows, but Crunchyroll is a little bit different than most of those other streaming services because they are usually taking shows that are being adapted in real time to a different location. So like such as, the States in this case or out west, so to speak, away from Japan, right, with anime. So I don't see Peacock, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see like Peacock marketing new shows necessarily, other than the ones that are already debuting in the United States on live TV. Like that's where I see the difference being, and I think that the cost of it for them to do something like that would be so much larger than just necessarily them taking, picking and choosing certain shows where they focus on, such as Konosuba very clearly is a show that they focused on. Kobayashi-san is a show that they focused on getting all the dubs and all the rights to as well. I'm sure that one's going to be another one. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but yeah, like, I think they're going to focus on specific shows more than a genre or necessarily having like this big, huge group of shows.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on maybe my shit take?
Maybe
I
shit.
think, yeah. I haven't caught up on Isekai Quartet. I do love Isekai Quartet. I didn't even know Cautious Hero went beyond the first season because it seemed like a pretty definitive ending.
It
but
did.
yeah,
It shouldn't go beyond its first season. I'll make my hot take known. It was fun, but doesn't need another season.
I think they fumbled the bag on the ending a bit, but that's yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They did. But in terms of Crunchyroll, I think Crunchyroll is definitely. I don't think they're gonna become a platform that necessarily focuses on, okay, here's a show. But I feel like now with Crunchyroll and I feel like Crunchyroll is gonna be a name that we associate with like the westernization of a lot of these anime, and like making it more appear. How do I just
Maybe
bringing
mainstream.
it to, yeah, making it more mainstream in the Western audiences because Funimation's cool and they were cool. But right now, in my opinion, the Funimation service sucks.
Yeah, it
It's not
does.
fun to use. It's
That's why I don't pay
the
for it.
app. Yeah, I had it for like a month on like Xbox. I was using the app. It sucked. It doesn't actually work. Um, I feel like Crunchyroll is refining everything. Um, and certain things like Verve, that recommendation algorithm, the way that
Oh, it's
they're
so good.
getting, yeah, it's great. I feel like they're just bringing money to these companies. Like, there's an audience here, and you need to tap into it. But we also want a piece of the pie when you do. So they're gonna buy these rights, bring it here, and they're picking and choosing what they think is gonna work in the states most. I think Konosuba was a great one to bring to the states,
I
and
agree.
then Kaguya-sama, like that's something that can appeal to the normal person, like just average person, like, oh, this is funny. Let me turn this on, enjoy it.
Hmm.
So I feel like it's more of a instead of a platform with shows, is just we're trying to get a piece of the pie when it eventually becomes mainstream and Western.
And here's my take on piece of the pie. So why I was specifically targeting isekai, and because Crunchyroll did this last year. And if you know anything about the game Fate Grand Order, it made $2.4 billion
Yeah.
last year in revenue. So what my prediction is that Crunchyroll Games will make their own gacha like isekai game and try to make a shit ton of money as long as they have the
Wow.
rights to those shows. Because they did
Wow,
it
that
last year with
makes
Mob
sense.
Psycho, they have it this year with the Naruto game, and I think they're just gonna try getting these licensing rights so they can make a shit ton of money off of a gacha game.
They
Wow,
have my money. They have my
that
money.
would be a
Because
lot of fun.
think of all the characters you can have in this gacha game. You have Overlord that has like 15 to 20 characters. Konosuba, in the main storyline, if you only watch the anime, there's probably like 10 to 15. But like when you read more light novels, there's a huge cast. Tanya the Evil has like her whole cast. What else? Cautious Hero has some, but I think there could be more. And just something like that where they could just build this roster, and as long as they have the licensing agreements, they could probably make a shit ton of money off of a gacha game.
Yeah, they can't nearly make as much money. I think Fate is an enigma where
I agree.
it's completely different from all of the other series. Like, because I mean, it's just incredible too, because they not only have had so many seasons of Fate, Fate Stay Night, Fate whatever, blah blah, blah, but they've also got the mythical factor to them too, where oh, it's King Arthur with Saber, or
Yep.
it's these other mythical figures which might draw other people in from other fan bases as well. But I definitely could see that isekai thing making a ton of money, like a ton of money as a gotcha game. But it's the other thing too, though the West doesn't play gotcha games that much. Like so, like out of that 2 point whatever billion from that Fate made, how much of it was from the West? It
Yeah,
couldn't have been
I don't have that
like
statistic. All I know is that they made a shit ton of money.
yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. They made so much money out east, but that's because gotcha games have been so popular out east. And again, I don't know the numbers, so I might be speaking out of my ass right now, but I'm pretty sure that out west at least especially compared to out east, I would put my money on 75% or more of the money from that 2 point whatever billion came from being from out east, so
Sure,
to
I can
speak.
see
Be
that for
like
sure.
I could totally see that, but at the same time, Crunchyroll has such a monopoly almost on the well, maybe not a monopoly, but they definitely have the favor of all the people out west because like even if you have Funimation, which again I don't because I think their service is real. I'm still salty after they broke up with Crunchyroll. You know that was a really heartbreaking
Yeah.
moment, but
Mhm.
even then that just from all the feedback I've gotten, their service is just not nearly as good as Crunchyroll, which hopefully we'll see see them change because they're realizing that their label is, the subpar service that you just get so that you can watch Kaguya-sama, or that you get so that you can watch older shows. My webcam froze, so it's fine though. I'll finish my point and then fix it. But like Crunchyroll has such a better social media outreach. They've been doing so much better. Like just having what's her name, Hime.
Hime,
Hime
yep.
is such. I mean, I've got wallpaper of her. She's such a lovable character
She's in the
that
video when you see it. She's in the
yeah,
corner. You'll see her.
yeah, exactly. She's the best, and it's so fun. Oh, it fixed itself, kind of. I don't
Kind
know.
of.
It's
You're
kind of.
choppy, but
It's don't buy webcams from China, guys. But either way, it still was Crunchyroll is so much better at what they're trying to do than Funimation is, and VR by making VRV a more affordable option as well. Which is, I have VRV, which gives me Crunchyroll now. I used to only have Crunchy. Like again, I don't know. I just think that whoever is running Crunchyroll understands what people want out west better.
yep.
So I could totally see them doing a lot better than Funimation over the next year.
Haz, do you have any thoughts?
Well, definitely gotcha games are. I'm one of those people that have a problem, right?
Yep.
I have gotcha games that are on my phone from like 3 years ago, and I still play them daily. But even if it's not gotcha game, I think right now, and there's another like prediction I have for later on, related to gaming, but the Western audience that anime has right now eats any form of non-anime, like any game that's anime related, they'll eat it up, right?
Yep. Oh, for
They
sure.
they ate up Jump Force
Yep.
when from the jump, like from the beta. We had a beta and we knew it was broken, and people still ate it up, and it still has a high rating. And it's just like, if Crunchyroll right now decided let's open a game studio, they're making money
They do
because
have a game
right now,
studio.
Hmm.
what?
They do have a game studio, but it's only mobile games right now.
Right, like I think
Yeah.
I get what your point is though. Like with if they opened up a studio and hired a bunch of developers or something to create a game, they would make money. There is no
Yeah.
way that they would lose money. They
Yeah.
probably wouldn't make a lot to
My
start, but they
My
would make
Heroes
money.
One Justice, that awful like side scroller game, sold over
No,
500,000 copies. And
they're
like their
they're
budget was probably like $30. So it's like
Yeah.
people eat that shit up.
and the hate against Bandai Namco right
Oh
now is at an
yeah.
all-time high,
Dude, don't
right?
even, oh, good thing Chris is not here. He's about to go off on that because there's so many games that they just screwed up in a row.
Like and especially, and this is my opinion on Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco knows when they can cash out.
Yeah.
Right? Because I play the SAO games. The SAO games have a lot of content for like $30, and it's actually a working game.
Are
But
you
as soon
talking
as they,
about the SAO PS4 games? Sorry to interrupt. Are you talking about those games
yeah,
or the
yeah,
mobile one?
like
Okay, yeah, because I was
Fatal
gonna say because
Bullet,
I've played those. Those are the only anime games I've played,
yeah,
and I didn't enjoy them very much, but I could see why people did. Like they're JRPGs. I'm not a JRPG guy, so I couldn't
yeah,
get into them. But yeah, they were good games though. Like you were
yeah.
saying, they were functional.
They're they're functional, and that's because SAO, at least right now, is not nearly the like seller that it was when it dropped, or like the hot button topic. But as soon as they get Dragon Ball Z in their IP catalog, they're like, okay, we'll do whatever. Throw whatever game we already have with no models and just replace the
Yep.
models.
Dragon Ball Z, it's like Dragon Ball Z Budokai 14. Here you go.
Tenkaichi,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
something.
here you go. Add the characters. Okay, well, I've been taking up a lot of time with my predictions. Pat, do you have a prediction from, since we're on the topic of
Of
Crunchyroll or something like
Crunchyroll.
that? Yeah, do you have a prediction that you think we'd see from? Because right now they
Uh,
don't have a live stream yet for their like online expo, but
no.
I'm going to assume we will be getting one.
Well, they say they've been hinting at it for sure. They've been hinting like, "Oh, don't worry, Crunchyroll Expo's canceled, but we're doing like certain things for you guys." Like, so I feel like they're definitely gonna do some digital panels,
Yep.
some other things. Hopefully they don't put them behind a paywall because that would be, I don't know if I would like that much. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like that's just not gonna
Hold your
work.
breath.
I Who knows? I don't know. I think that putting them behind a paywall is kind of scummy myself, but that's just me being probably a bit of a
No,
I don't know
I'm in the
what
same boat.
to say. Like I think it's kind of dumb. I think it would be. I think that would harm the good that an online thing like this could do for them.
Mhm.
But anyways, my predictions. I mean, again, neither of these are really that like shocking, I guess. But Fruits Basket final season, I would expect would be announced at Crunchyroll Con, considering they're the people that are pushing it the most. Like the final season of Fruits Basket, I guess. So like they've said that it's going to take. They've already announced that they're going to adapt the full series, which should
Yep.
take about 60 episodes. They've already done the first season. Second season is about almost finished, or either
No,
that or
it still has
they're
15 episodes.
oh, it's still all right. So there you go. They're
It's
doing the
25.
next
It's 25
25 and
episodes.
25, right? So
Yep.
they're doing the next 25 as well right now. I'm sure that they'll announce the final 13 then, or the 13 or so that would be left, the final core or arc or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're going to announce that this summer
Okay.
once it finishes up. Other than that, I guess my more outlandish prediction would be Zombieland Saga getting a release date, because they've already announced the second season way back, like 6 months ago,
Yep.
but they never announced when it was coming, not even the year that it was coming, I don't think. And with Corona, it's probably going to be pushed back, but I'm predicting that they'll at least announce like, oh, July 2021, we'll get Zombieland Saga season 2. And I'm really looking forward to that. That's such a fun show.
I think that's a good take because they did have a Zombieland Saga panel
Mhm.
on the 2019 Crunchyroll Expo because I was there for it. So they
I
definitely
think
do
that was
have a
when they
working
announced it.
relationship.
Yeah, that was when they announced, I think,
No, they
the
didn't
second.
announce it. They
No?
announced it there, but they had like the whole panel. So
Oh,
like
okay.
you
Yeah.
definitely saw like their relationship with Zombieland Saga and Mappa because Mappa did Zombieland Saga. So
Mhm.
we definitely saw
Well, I think
like their
I
relationship with that.
yeah, I think that show definitely had a lot of create like that show became popular mainly because it was on Crunchyroll. I think that Crunchyroll doesn't get enough credit for how they literally take certain shows that are so niche or so small,
Hmm.
that and then make them blow up. Like I guess that was the best example, Zombieland
I
Saga.
think Late
There's
Back
other
Camp is
good ones.
another example that they
Laid Back
definitely
Camp
they
is
took
another
the
one. Yeah,
reins on that show and it skyrocketed in
same thing.
popularity.
The Slime Show.
Slime. They did
I think
I mean Doctor Stone is huge too, but they definitely pumped money into Doctor Stone as well from
right.
last year.
Exactly. So I think that I think I could see that definitely happening with Zombieland Saga. I think that I could see that being bumped up for sure in terms of popularity and like success, if you will.
Right on. Do you have any predictions that would come out of let's say Crunchyroll Expo?
Um, so I've out of Crunchyroll Expo specifically.
If you I mean that's just what the target we're on. If you don't, then we can just move on to the next one.
Well, I do have one,
Okay.
and I think this is one that we could all pray for. This one I don't really have. I think the manga's at a point where we can safely say that Komi-san can communicate. Needs
Oh
an
yeah.
anime, and
Okay.
I think it's that time. I think it's because, and the only reason I say that is because, like we were talking about earlier with the webtoons and Unordinary, I feel like the style of webtoon is, how would I put it? It's very diverse in its range now. Like there's so much interesting things, and like Komi-san, it's an anime, it's a manga, but I kind of could see it as like a webtoon too, like that
For
same
sure.
feel as Webtoon.
100%.
hmm
So I feel like Komi-san would be a great thing to push, um,
Yes.
and it would also help them push their webtoon catalog because I feel like you could, if someone saw Komi-san as like under webtoon, like they wouldn't double.
So
Yeah,
are you saying like take the manga of Komi-san and put it onto webtoons because I can see something like that happening?
Uh,
Or are you
no,
saying
more of an anime
are you
I'm
saying that's just that style in
I'm
terms
just
of
saying
like
that style,
okay.
like, it's very relatable, and I feel like if they pushed it or like they announced an anime at Crunchyroll Expo, like it would match any webtoon announcement that they had. Like it would keep that same group of people happy,
Sure.
plus more.
Okay. I mean, you stole my take from Anime Expo because I thought Komi-san was looking at announcing Anime Expo, but
oh, that'd be so good. I would have loved that.
oh,
Because I've been looking for a reason to watch it or read it, I guess. But now I wouldn't have to read it, so I would love it.
I'm reading it. I think it'd be a much better anime.
I could
Mhm.
see it being a good anime for sure. Because from what the memes that I've seen or whatever,
Yeah.
mainly centered around not looting Komi-san.
Yes.
I think that would be a fun little boost to the anime community in terms of like online just discussions and jokes or whatever.
Mhm.
I think another one that similar to Komi-san is it's a show called or this manga that I've been reading. One of the few again, I only read a few manga, but it's something I've been reading. It's called like Fetch a Peru, something about fetishes, and it's very funny. It's about a couple that uh the girl has really nice hair according to the guy and he's like fetishizes it, and then the guy has a really nice back according to the girl and she fetishizes him, and it's like their relationship, and it's very funny, it's very charming, cute. It's not something that like I would expect to be life changing or like super um well, I guess what's the word, like, emotional
Yeah.
or critically great. But I think that it would do very well, especially as like a short form anime, something like I can't understand what my husband is saying, or uh, Are You Lost, or
Love Tyrant or whatever it's called.
yeah, Magical Senpai, where it's
Yep.
like, it's a short form joke anime where it's just fun.
Yep.
It's just fun little skits and fired back and forth. Like I think that would be a really fun one. So I'll put my head out there. I'm gonna predict that that'll get an anime in 2021.
Right on.
Let's
So
say.
how about we shift away from the Crunchyroll side, because I
Mhm.
think now we can like broaden of what we think. But just before we do that, I'm gonna say my last outlandish prediction for Crunchyroll is that they are going to start funding teams inside of studios. And what I mean by that is, so Crunchyroll is the licensor for
Right.
Tower of God, God of High School, and Noblesse. Tower of
Mhm.
God is being made by Telecom Communication or something like that. God of High School is MAPPA, and Noblesse is IG. What I think Crunchyroll's going to start doing is just be like, they already have such a good relationship with MAPPA. They'll be like, hey, MAPPA, we will pay salary for 8 new artists or something like that. And then
Hmm.
you are just going to create our ideas. And it's just going to be MAPPA. And then, instead of branching out on all these different types of different studios for certain projects, I think they're just gonna pick like one or two. They're gonna fund the team and then just gonna start pumping out projects. So that's my last outlandish prediction. I honestly don't think that's gonna happen, but I just like that's just like my outlandish thing
That's
that might happen.
that's the thing. Like I think that if it were to happen, it would make sense and it would be a good thing. But I also don't think it will likely happen. But
Mm-hmm.
another show you just mentioned, Mappa again. Another show Crunchyroll had that impact with was Sarazanmai. I don't think I ever would have watched Sarazanmai without it being on Crunchyroll. Like so that's just to go back to that other point. But I definitely could see them working with Mappa, like you said, where it would make so much sense for them to fund one of these studios to just create a show that they want or a show that they think would do well. And
Yes.
by paying for those specific artists and then getting the rights to it themselves, they could do so much with that. But it would also have to be the right show. Like they would not
Yeah.
or they'd have to make sure that it would have to be done also so well because of how much
Mm.
money it would actually cost. I don't see it happening myself.
Yeah.
But again,
I
I'm
even
just
that's
throwing
why
it
it's a
out
fun
there.
game.
Yeah.
It's a fun fiction. It's something that I would love. Don't get me wrong, but whether it happens or not, that's tough.
well, I hmm. If you say they have a, I don't really know too much about the relationship with Mappa, but like, do you think that it's more likely, considering Crunchyroll already has their mobile game division, and like that instead of expanding, Crunchyroll's already like starting to expand on what they own, like with the webtoon deal and the game studio, the mobile game studio, they wouldn't just make their own animation.
They do.
You
They
think?
do have their own animation studio. So they have 3 animes coming out. I gotta look it up real quick. They have 3 animes coming out either this year or like early 2021. So it's
As
Crunchyroll
people can see, I'm
Studios, and it's
very
shows that I've never heard of. I think they might be originals. Let me see if I can
oh
find it real quick.
yeah, I'm very uninformed as everyone can see.
Okay, so they have. So Crunchyroll Studios is having. Oh, these are all. It says first run date 2020 according to Wikipedia. So take that with a grain of salt. Onyx Equinox, Freak Angels, High Guardian Spice, and Maiji Gekken, Swords and Guns. Those are all Crunchyroll Studio animation titles that are coming out in 2020. Whereas, like Tower of God, what's different between that is they're the licensor, not the animation
Right.
studio. So this
Okay.
is Crunchyroll creating the actual anime now. So be interesting to see what that is. But how about we move towards away from Crunchyroll and we
One
move
last
to
Crunchyroll
oh
point, actually, just quickly, just came to my mind while we were sitting here.
okay
Maybe they offer, and again, this is a super just bold BS, not going to happen. Crunchyroll offers a way for people to learn Japanese through their site or through watching anime. I think that that'd be a really cool project that if they were to do that, where it's like, hey, learn Japanese by watching anime, or learn Japanese with the help of anime. I think that that'd be a really cool project for
I
them
could see
to.
something like that.
Yeah, like
And they
that.
have their manga section. Like you could just be like
Right.
publish like books on their manga, or they could just change the manga to like literature or something, and then like
Hmm.
have some form of like learning thing on there. I could see that
Right.
happening.
I think that I don't think they will do that because it's not necessarily what they're pushing as a brand.
Sure.
But I think theoretically that it would be a good. It could work for them, but it would take so much work and so much preparation that uh, it would be very difficult. But yeah, so that was just something that came to mind at the last second. But yeah, let's get away from
All
Crunchyroll as
right,
much as.
moving away from Crunchyroll,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're moved towards the big boy, and that's Anime Expo, the biggest anime expo in the entire world. And this is where the majority of the big announcements come throughout the year. And so
Hmm.
I'm gonna start things off. And then from 2 years ago, there was an announcement that Code Geass would be receiving a 10-year plan on their projects. So what I am going to predict for Anime Expo is that we will get the announcement that Code Geass Season 3 or a spinoff is in the works.
Season 3? Oh no.
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
here
So
for it.
I'm watching Code Geass right now for the first time through. I'm on episode 21 of season 1, so I can't speak too much to the show, but I do know that again, it's notorious for having fantastic endings that
Yep.
make sense and that are endings that actually end or could work as an ending for the show. So I don't know if I would want a season 3 because that would mean that would potentially harm, I guess, the endings of the previous season,
Hmm.
of season 2. Um, yeah, or I don't know
I mean, if it was up to
how to
me,
put
the
that.
show would have ended at Season 2, but they already announced that they have a 10-year plan for Code Geass. Like, the creator
Mm,
of Code Geass has already said, we have a 10-year plan. Like, there's going to be more Code Geass. So I don't know if that's going to be, like, a spin-off, like what they do with Gundam, where you have, like, Iron-Blooded Orphans, you have Gundam Wing, you have Gundam
right.
Seed. I don't know if it's going to lean in that direction, because it's not really a spoiler, but, like, the show could... There's a sequel movie after Season 2, so, like,
Right.
the story is continuing, so
Hmm.
it's hard to say what direction they are going because they can twist and turn it any way they want because the world is so vast. Like they
Yeah.
could do a whole bunch of stuff with like the side characters like prior to them meeting Lelouch or something like that, or they
Right.
could just continue the story. So my just prediction is season 3 or a spin-off of Code Geass.
I could
I
see the
think
spin-off.
I I definitely think that it might be movies for the beginning. I feel like it'll be movies because the last anime that I heard got a 10-year plan was My Hero, and when they said that, I was like, "There's no way," right? In my opinion, the way the My Hero story is written right now. But Code Geass, yeah, the spin-offs probably will come later. I think they're gonna
Yeah.
test the waters
Because
with a
Code Geass
movie.
is an original, so they can do whatever
Yeah.
they want with the
Exactly. I
story.
was gonna say that's the big difference with My Hero too, is like, can the author really pump out 10 years
10
worth
years.
of chapters for manga or maybe not 10 years worth, but 10 years worth of
I
adaptation
think they
time
could
for
actually,
anime
with
you
with vigilantes and stuff like that. I think that they could pump out
well,
multiple.
yeah.
And My Hero
It,
Academia prints money, and
hmm.
they are going to suck that dry until it's no more.
Yeah, like they did to my poor Naruto
Yes.
with
Pat,
Boruto.
Pat, how about you do an Anime Expo prediction?
An Anime Expo prediction. Okay, well, so I didn't have any specific ones for Anime Expo. However, I could definitely see this happening. I could see them announcing, or what I called in my notes at least, the comeback of Kyo Annie. So
Sure. Oh yeah, that's great.
that's one specific show that I've had on my plan to watch that got announced, or it's I think pretty sure it's a show. Let me just double check because
What's it
I
called?
had
I'll let you know.
it is a show. It's called Niju Seiki Denki Mokuroku, or 20th Century Electric Catalog. And the reason why it caught my eye is that it takes place in 1907, which is in like the Meiji era Japan, and I find it fascinating. fascinating time period. I don't know if you've seen my profile picture pop up on Discord because of my shitty webcam, but I'm a huge Kenshin fan. Rurouni Kenshin. I love learning about that time period in Japan history, and it's so fascinating to me. And this anime focuses on that time period, or the middle of that time period, where Japan is just starting to use electricity, cable cars, all sorts of things. So I want that show to come, and that's where my focus of Kyoto Anime or Kyoto Animation making its comeback. They've been pretty quiet the past few months, probably because coronavirus and everything. But
Well,
it's tough for them not to. And then obviously as well, coming back from their terrible
they're
tragedy that they
fire,
had.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's obviously the reason why they haven't done anything. Yeah, that's don't take me the wrong
Well,
way, but I'm
the
saying they
other big thing is that their next show that they were gonna make was Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid season 2,
Dragon Maid
and the
season 2.
director died. So it's
Yes,
like we need to find a new director for this, but it's like how do you like cherish his legacy on that
it's
show?
it's that, and then the Violet Evergarden movie
Movie,
that
yep.
was announced. I believe it already has a release date. The new one,
The new
the
one.
one that they have made since the fire happened, which is
Mhm.
their first project that they are going to release since the fire. I think they have a release date. If they don't, they have definitely said it's within the next year. Um, and I could totally see that being talked about at Anime Expo and I really hope it does because I want more Kyoto
That would be
animation.
such
I
a great
need,
comeback
I
story.
need more.
Mm.
I need more. I want more, and I deserve more.
I mean,
So let's get
they're
it.
they're one of the top what 3 animation studios in Japan. Like,
At least in terms of pumping out quality shows, yeah. It's
I
like
mean,
who else?
in my eyes, they're number 2, but like it's like, yeah, it's insane.
Like I don't know, top three for me. Would I like just off the top of my head that I know of and that I've seen so many shows from
Yeah.
would be A1, Kyoto Animation, and God, who else? I can't even like. But those
Bones,
are
Madhouse,
Bones, Madhouse. There you go. Mappa, another one that we
Mappa's
talked
been
about.
Mappa's on fire right now. They are,
Toei does all the shonen
yeah.
and all kinds of stuff like that. Like I can totally see them though, because again they're known for their quality. They're known for their outstanding animation, real characters that are 3 dimensional, and they're just their work ethic, like their level of quality. And I really want them to be back and not maybe mainstream's the wrong word, but I want them pumping a show out every 6 months or every 3 months even,
It
like
would be nice to
every
see
season.
them like be back to the
Right,
normal
be
Kyoto
back to what
anime.
they be back to, and of course that is not me shaming them or being mad at them. It is
No,
me rooting for them and hoping that they can come back as soon as possible because they deserve to be back, and we as people deserve to see the quality that they consistently make, that they are so passionate
that's
about
a
making.
great answer. How about Has? How about a prediction from your side?
Um. So all three of these are kind of outlandish. So I'm trying to like. I'm trying
That's
to.
fine.
It's not that they're outlandish. It's just like. So I guess I'll. I guess I'll start with my personal favorite outlandish one.
Okay.
Um. So I'm a big Trinity Seven fan,
Yeah.
and Trinity Seven had a movie last year,
It
which
was
you didn't like.
garbage. Garbage.
Yes,
I
it
liked
was.
it. I liked it because I like Lilith, and I thought her arc in that story was fun. Okay, I'm a trash anime watcher. I think they're gonna announce either another movie or season 2.
Okay.
Because the gap between Trinity Seven season 1 and the initial movie was a year. Um, and so bringing it back, what was 3 years later? Yeah, it's been 3 years from movie 1 to 2. I think there's gonna be a Trinity Seven announcement, and I would be very happy if it.
Trinity Seven. That's that High School DxD ripoff, isn't it?
It's
Isn't
pretty
that what?
close. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I tried an episode 2 of that like 5 years ago, back when I first got into anime. I tried watching that show, and I was just, even back then, my 15, 16-year-old self was just like, this is too much for me. So like that's all I remember from that show. But I think it definitely is very popular. I know my roommate, who I'm getting into anime, I'm forcing him to watch stuff, and he's getting into it himself. Has watched Trinity Seven and enjoyed it because he's like, I need a ecchi trashy show. Sure enough, Trinity
Yep.
Seven is right there for him, and
Right up his alley. That's awesome.
exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. Because he likes to bounce back and forth, and sure enough, that's a very popular one. I think another one that Crunchyroll has definitely helped by putting at the forefront. Because again, like we were talking about with Crunchyroll, they put so many shows, so many seasonals, especially back like 3 or 4 years ago. They had the rights to every seasonal, and who, um, they essentially determined who was successful in the season. It felt
Sure.
like almost like who got the most marketing and who got the front page of good green
Oh, there
screen.
goes Pat's
It's great. But yeah, no,
green
they
screen this
determined it.
time.
I know. I haven't had this happen yet. It's powerful. Maybe Funimation's mad at me or
They're
something.
listening. Hey,
They're
Funimation is owned by AT&T, so you never know who's
oh
listening.
that we used to have their internet, not anymore. So
Maybe that's why they want you to come back.
yeah.
They'll DDoS your internet.
Well,
All
they need to get 5G in my neighborhood first before we do that. But anyways, yeah. So that's getting slightly off topic a little bit. But yeah, that was kind of my point though. Was like I could totally see Trinity Seven getting another show or a season because of how popular it was.
Yep, and then
Yeah.
Haz lives in New York City, so it's popping off in the streets right now. You can hear it.
Yeah.
Also-
I'm gonna run through a few predictions of mine that aren't that big of a deal, which I actually think has a really good chance of what's happening or it could happen. I think the Yuri on Ice movie is going to get a trailer, and we will get a release date finally for the movie. So that's Ice Adolescence from Yuri on Ice, which is the side story of Victor. Don't really know where that's gonna go. Basing off of Origairu from season 2 to season 3, it was a 5-year gap. So I'm going to predict that we get New Game season 3. If you've ever seen New Game, I think we're gonna get an announcement on the new Love Live, where I think we're gonna get a PV and the release date for that.
Shout out Adam.
And then for my big manga take that I think is going to get an adaptation. It's kind of I think I've seen a little bit on Twitter, so this isn't really like a hot take for me, but I think 20th Century Boys will be getting an adaptation.
I've heard of that. Yep.
It's a I think it's like number 8 on Mal for like rating for mangas, so it's like highly popularized like manga, and I think that's going to get an adaptation. So those are like my not as hot takes. So
Maybe Vinland Saga might be another one that you throw out there. That just if we're just throwing out shows that we think might get season or seasonal announcements, I'd say Vinland Saga. I think season 2 is already technically kind of announced, but I could totally see them dropping a trailer or dropping a release
it's
date.
hard to say because Wit Studios isn't doing the next season of Attack on Titan, so it's either hey, are they dropping Attack on Titan to do Vinland Saga season 2, or are they just having a bunch of shit going on and they're not
And they're
making
just dropping
anything?
everything. Yeah,
Because
Or
they have
just
they have an original show coming out right now. I think it's The Great Pretender, I think it's called. So like they have some stuff going on, but like Wit Studios isn't kind of like iffy right now, so it's kind of hard to say. Pat, how about you? Do you got any more predictions? Maybe like on the lighter scale.
On the happier scale, I would and this would make me happy because it makes a lot of other people happy along with myself. I think the next Makoto Shinkai project could be announced. Not
Ooh.
necessarily not nearly the release date or anything, but I could totally see. It's been or by the time it was technically released in Japan, it would have been 1 year later. After that, of course, my webcam freezes when I'm talking, but it would have been 1 year since the release of Weathering with You, and I think that if I recall correctly, I remember after seeing Your Name, it took less than a year and a half to 2 years for him.
Well, Your Name was 2016, and then Weathering with You was 2019.
Was 2019, right? But it was announced. Weathering with You,
Sure.
I definitely knew about Weathering with You in late 2017.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did at least because I could have sworn we heard about it back then. Maybe that's a little bit at 20 well obviously in 2018 we definitely heard about it like a year before it came out,
Yep.
but even then like I feel like I definitely heard about it pretty before it even had
Yeah.
like I heard about it, and then 6 months later we got our first preview, and then 6 months after that we got our second preview and our release date, and then like that kind of stuff. So I could totally see him at least announcing what his next project is, and I know, like I was saying, that would make a ton of people happy. That would make me so happy.
Yep.
I love his work. I think it's so good, and I gush over it all the time because like Your Name just changed anime the way like it really did. It
Yeah,
changed
well, 100% did. It's the
it
highest grossing
changed
anime
anime.
film of all time.
It's the highest grossing animated film even too, beyond just anime. It's
Is
wild
it?
how much money. I'm pretty damn sure
I
I think
don't think so.
I think worldwide
Not
I'm pretty sure.
animated.
I'm pretty sure worldwide it is.
We'll look that up, but I'm almost certain that is not true.
I am pretty sure it is, but you
Do
know
you
what?
know
I
what
speak out of my
Smash
ass a
Mouth
lot.
did for Shrek? You know how much money Shrek made?
Yeah, I do. I do. Hold up. All right.
Good
You know, I'll
God.
let's
All right,
see.
you looked that up. Has how about a prediction from you?
So this one is sort of I was talking about it a little off before we started. I think depending on how things get adapted into manga, we might get an SAO movie. Because Alicization, a lot of people think Alicization is going to be the end of SAO. Um, so the arc after Alicization is a prequel.
Okay.
It's very short. It's within like the same sort of like filler quote unquote arc like Caliber was, but in SAO 2 between GGO and Mother's Rosario. And I think Ordinal Scale did a lot for SAO in terms of like public reception. So if they wanted to make money on a dying cash cow,
Yeah.
they would.
Hold your tongue.
Oh.
My goodness, my webcam broke
hold
because
hold
of
your
that.
tongue and you hold your
Hold
webcam.
Yes. First off, I was wrong. It's the highest grossing in Japan. That's where I heard it from. It was the highest
Okay.
grossing animated film in Japan. That's where I was wrong. I'll accept my defeat.
I was
But
saying like
whoa, the
Frozen made
cash
$1
cow.
billion.
Yeah, so I looked at the list and I was like immediately I was like Frozen, Lion King, the Minions movie, which like
Oh,
I was just
huge.
like, oh
Yeah.
my god. It whatever though. Whatever. So anyways, though, your point, SAO being a cash cow. Excuse me, SAO is quality, and my webcam freeze.
It is
I
a
don't even
cash
care
cow
anymore.
though. It doesn't mean it's
It-
bad.
I'm not saying it's not quality. I'm just saying it makes a lot of money,
Yeah.
and it continues to make a lot of money.
My Hero's a cash cow. Doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's fair.
I mean, you know my
So-
stance on My Hero, so
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm just being general right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think if they took instead of because it would make no sense after Alicization to like make another filler arc and then the same way they had two stories in each. Alicization is super long. The last arc of SAO is super long. So to make a movie, and especially because I feel like I'm not sure. I know Pete doesn't like SAO.
Nope.
But I
I
think
do.
Ordinal Still was a great movie.
Yes, it was. It was the
a
best
great
SAO's
movie.
ever been. It was the best it's ever
Oh, you mean
been.
Gun Gale Online Alternative?
No,
It was.
that was good,
It was-
but it wasn't
so-
SAO.
If they announce another movie, I think even people who don't like SAO will be like, maybe we'll tune into this. I feel like it would do numbers, especially as a prequel to Alicization. And people who haven't started Alicization, they'll get into it because of the movie.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
right on.
I could see that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think where you're wrong with that is the people that hate SAO getting back into it. I don't think there's any having them come back. Of course, I'm frozen.
All right, you need to get a new webcam.
I really do. This is going. I'm sending this one back. But yeah, no, it's I don't see people coming back to SAO, but I like you said though, it is in your words a cash cow, in my words a successful franchise. That has maintained a fan base after a decade almost of existing. I could definitely see them continuing the series with, and I think I like I said when I jumped in, I think Ordinal Scale was the best SAO has ever been. Maybe not now with Alicization. Alicization's been fantastic, but up until that point, I thought no, the second half of Alicization, the War of Underworlds. Not the first half was kind of just ugh. It was wrecky.
That's another story for another day.
Yeah, but like the current SAO has been really good quality, and people who are actually willing to watch it and not just shit on it because it's SAO have realized that. I hope.
I mean,
So
I'm a diehard fan. Like my profile picture on Twitter and Discord is like the web novel, like original material guide to Kirito. So
oh yeah, him. Yep.
I'm here for all of it.
Oh yeah, me too.
All right, so we'll now move into like some more outlandish takes on what we think is going to happen. And this one is a reach. I think this is going to happen. I just don't know if it's going to happen this year. But
Okay.
I think JoJo Part 6 is going to get announced. There was a report when JoJo 5 was finished that if the fans wanted part 6 that they would make it, and then obviously everyone's like, duh, like why wouldn't we want part
Yeah.
6? And I think like part 6 and part 7 are like the highest rated JoJo's in terms of manga. So like everyone's like, duh, give us this shit. So I think it's called Stone Ocean something. So my like kind of outlandish, I just don't know if it might be too soon, is that JoJo Part 6 will get an announcement on its anime. Pat, do you have any maybe outlandish predictions, maybe?
I was gonna say I'm not the biggest JoJo's guy, so I can't comment. But I definitely do see Part 6. I mean, Part 6 is gonna happen as long as JoJo's exists. It will get
Yeah, for sure.
adapted. I was just sitting here looking through some of the shows I've watched recently. I could see Gintama. Do you think Gintama could
It's
get
getting a
another
movie.
season? Oh, it's getting a movie
It's
already.
getting
There
a
you go.
movie in
So I was just
2021.
say because it's such a popular series that's just gonna continue.
Yep.
Made in Abyss's movie. Maybe they announce another sequel or
It's
a
getting a
sequel.
season 2.
It is getting a
It
season
is
2. They've
getting a
already
season
announced that.
2, but it could be like announced at Anime Expo because
Right.
I don't think it has a release date yet. So that seems like a really good place to do it.
Yep. So there you go. That's another one that I think maybe Steins Gate. Just another show that comes to mind that had that. They had Steins Gate Zero, which was a prequel to the story, come out recently. So
Was
maybe
it a
they do a
prequel?
movie.
I'm pretty sure it was an alternate storyline.
Was it an I thought it
So
was a
it's like an
prequel.
alternate. So it's like an alternate story. What happens past episode 19 in the original Steins Gate? It's something straight. It's something really weird like that. It's like
Yeah.
it's like something happens in like episode
Yeah.
19 where it goes a different direction, and then that's Steins Gate 0.
It's kind of like Eva 3.0.
Yeah, those
Plus
movies.
1.0, whatever,
Yep.
those movies. Okay. But either way, I could totally see them doing that again then because Steins Gate's such a popular franchise and it's such a well-liked franchise as well. Other than that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
All right, Haz, do you have anything left on your takes?
Oh.
Haz?
He's muted right now.
Okay,
Maybe
sorry.
Another
I,
police going on.
all right.
There we go.
So for outlandish takes, so Grand Blue Fantasy did well. I'm thinking Twitch Prime is doing a SNK run with their games right now. So I'm thinking SNK announcement for a new game, possibly King of Fighters anime.
Oh.
With the
Also, speaking
Yeah,
of Twitch Prime, if you want to support the podcast, you could give me your Twitch Prime.
Sitting there doing nothing.
Twitch.tv/Don't Sweat with 3 T's. You give me $2.50 a month, and I will keep. I don't know. That's the only way to support the podcast right now. All right, sorry. Continue.
yeah.
Has my bad.
King of Fighters anime, possibly.
That would be
SNK.
sick.
Yeah.
That would be so sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. The only reason I say it's outlandish is because the SNK game run, it does have King of Fighters 2002, I think, and 2001, but it also is just like general SNK games.
Okay.
So it's not specifically King of Fighters or anything. But I think it would be great considering how good Grand Blue Fantasy Versus did, and I'm pretty sure the anime got good reception.
I think it
So-
was much more popular in like Japan than it was in the West, but I did hear that it's a pretty successful franchise. It's the same thing with like Azure Lane, that gacha game that got a anime adaptation, where it's not super popular in North America, but it's huge in Japan. So it's like it's one of those things where like, why did this show get an adaptation? It's because it's giant in Japan.
It's like Princess Connect is another show that just comes to mind. The pre-con, whatever it is. I don't know how popular it is out west or east rather. But the anime for it is just like it exists. I don't know what else to say about it.
I didn't realize how big Azure Lane was, just to speak on that real quick, until
Yeah,
I
that's
played
true.
the game. And then the full release game that came out on PC and like consoles, and it was just a mobile game ported over with a different in-game battle mechanic. And I was like, wait. The only time you do this is when the series is gonna cash out, and I'm like, wow, wow.
Yeah, people eat that shit up. We were talking about it earlier with the video games. They eat that stuff up. They love it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get into my final predictions, and then if you guys have anything else.
I had two quick, totally serious predictions that just came back to mind.
Okay.
because I only have opinions when my webcam decides to screw me.
Yeah, you're
But
Casper the Friendly Ghost right now.
yeah, really, I know. I'm even whiter than I already am, which is that's saying a lot. That's saying a ton. First off, totally serious prediction. Conception season 2
Yeah.
would be announced at Anime Expo. I don't see why not. Everyone loved the
I,
first episode. See, the webcam's trying to cut me off right now.
they,
Everyone
they,
loved
they
the
heard
first
you say
season.
it. They're like, get out of here,
Yeah.
Pat.
Get out of this. Yeah, no, but seriously, the first season was so successful and so well liked and critically acclaimed. I don't see why they wouldn't make a second Conception one.
Some people are going to think you're serious.
I know. And then my other super serious prediction is No Game No Life season 2. Give it to me. I want it.
It's never going
I
to
don't
happen.
I don't want to have to watch No Game No Life again. I want to watch season 2. That coin flip scene was so sick. I don't care how stupid it was. It was so sick. It was so creative. Give me more. Give me more No Game No Life. I want it. There. That's all. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Haz, do you have any final predictions before I'll
also,
wrap up my end and then we'll close out the episode?
I also have 2 quick predictions. But on that Conception note, I know it's a joke, but Conception 2, the actual game itself, instead of running on 12 girls, it runs on 7, and it has a very positive rating on. I think they can make it work, and it would work way better than the original.
Oh yeah, because the main problem was the amount of girls. So like 12 girls was the problem. It needed to be something more realistic, like 6 or 7. That's where the real problem was with the show.
I feel like if you had to cram in less characters, a lot of the other problems would be fixed as well.
That's true. Seven characters. Impregnating 7 characters over 12 episodes is a lot easier than impregnating 12 over 12 episodes. So maybe that's the best way to put it. But what was your final prediction?
Big
out of
brain.
curiosity? Yeah.
So, Jump Force 2.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they make it a good game this time.
Never. And a SAO progressive adaptation.
I can see that for sure. I'm actually shocked
give
that we
it to
haven't.
me.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten that yet, to be honest.
Well,
or like
please.
news about it.
Yes.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like SAO has a final arc, but like it gets no love. SAO progressive is getting pushed harder than that final arc.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very, very good point. But I think that what they're going to do is they're going to wait to do progressive until after. I think they're going to let the series finish. They're going to adapt the whole series. Wait a year or 2 for the hype to build up again, so that people are getting something fresh, and then progressive will get adapted. I bet we don't see progressive until 2025, maybe even later. That's my prediction.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it depends how quickly. I mean, like you said, SAO has. I'm a big SAO fan, but I've never read the light novels even because I don't want to. I don't want to get spoiled because I know the anime is going to get adapted. I know this is the end of Alicization, and then after that, there's one more major arc, right? So that one major arc probably will take another 2 years, let's say, of seasons, let's say, right? So that's
slow.
2 years. So that'd be 2022, 2023 is when it would wrap up around, right? So then I would think that a year or 2 later is when they would actually start adapting progressive once they actually have the hype built up a little bit more.
Oh no, we lost Haz. Oh no. And
I made him that upset. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry I made you that upset.
He's like, all right, I have a head out. Oh, he's back.
I'm so sorry that I made you that upset.
No, he's back. We lost me. Okay.
No, he's here. I think he's here, just not. Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
I'm so sorry. I thought there was gonna be police, so I hit mute and then I hit exit call.
No worries. But yeah, so that's my feeling on progressive. But I definitely want it to happen because I have really enjoyed the little bit of progressive that I did read by accident when I initially tried to buy the SAO manga and bought the light novel progressive by accident.
I did that with Konosuba.
Yep.
Konosuba is a light novel, but they have some of the light novels adapted into manga now. So I thought I was buying volume 5 of the manga. I actually bought volume 5 of the light novel, which is completely different. So
yep,
whoops.
I did that, but I enjoyed the progressive that I did read, so I definitely could see it because it's essentially, my understanding of progressive, it still is Reki, but it's him going back and fixing all of the really blatantly dumb, poor decisions that he made and turning it into a better show from it. Because
Yeah.
again, like taking the concept that was so fantastic and turning it into a quality show with better writing.
Kirito
And
starts off as an asshole, and I love it. Like
mhm,
complete asshole, actual character development. I love it.
that's good. I can't wait to hopefully see it adapted in 2025.
All right. Do either of you guys have any final predictions?
Uh, I'm hoping that my prediction's wrong, but I'm guessing that Anime New York City or whatever that con is that we're planning on going to, I'm guessing it's gonna end up being canceled, especially being in November.
Yeah.
Like, the second wave is coming, and I'm honestly, hopefully the second wave comes sooner, so that way we can then go back to somewhat having our normal lives. But
Yeah.
I don't see things being cleared up by November to the point where, so like an example, Connecticut has been waiting forever. My local convention in Connecticut has been waiting forever to cancel. It's in early July, like July like 7th or something like that. And they finally announced that they're canceling like this past week or something. I don't even think they announced it. I think they kind of just started marketing for 2021 already. So
Gotcha.
so they haven't really announced it yet, but it's essentially set in stone. And I can't imagine if they're still canceling cons in July and like August when things are starting to open back up and people are starting to re-explore things. I can't imagine in November we're going to be back to normal, especially too with a lot of the places talking about like Fauci, I believe, said like you can't expect big concerts or sporting events to have fans and people at them until 2021 or
Yeah.
or fall.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I have my doubts. I'm like, so high aspirations, low expectations. So
mhm,
I'm hoping it happens. If it gets canceled, I understand. But if it doesn't get canceled, then I'm gonna be ecstatic. So we'll see
me
what
too.
happens. That's plenty of time. But
Yeah,
Oh, and
exactly.
look, just real quick, probably no discussion about this because it's just stupidity.
yep.
But I want 2021 to be a dark year.
Oh, you want Dead
Especially
Tube?
I want Dead Tube. I want Killing Bites season 2. Um, and considering that My Hero Academia's new arc is gonna be really dark, I yeah, give me Dead Tube. Give me Killing Bites season 2. Give me everything that they wouldn't normally give me because they want to be happy.
Yeah, for sure. I feel
Because
you.
they want to be happy. I like how
They
you
want
put
to be
that.
happy. I want Berserk.
Give me sad. Give
A
me
real
sadness.
Berserk adaptation. Well, like I said, the first season was okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap things up now since we're getting a little off
Yeah.
topic. I forgot one of my predictions. I don't think it's that outlandish. I think the final season of Sound Euphorium is going to get announced. So that's season 3.
hmm
The theatrical movie came out, I think, at the end of 2018, or it was either late 2018, early 2019. I don't remember, but the third season, I'm pretty sure is their senior year. So I think that's gonna get the announcement. But this is not really like an expo prediction. I think this is just like what's going to happen inside the market. I think Amazon is going to be completely done with trying to get licensing for animes. I think that they're moving away from some stuff. So they had like a delivery service similar to like DoorDash and stuff like that they just got rid of. And I think that they're going to start scaling down things that aren't like profitable. And their streaming service isn't that like used. And I don't think that they're going to be spending the money on, because they do it like once a season they get a show or something like that.
Yeah, they get an exclusive. Yeah.
And lately it's been like they had Vinland Saga, which was like the big one, but then they had like Pet. They had like these like random like animes that like nobody cares about. I just think personally they're just gonna get out of that. I think they'll still have like anime on their platform, but I don't think they're gonna be like a simulcasting service anymore.
I definitely can agree with that. I don't see that happening either. I think the only other one that I can think of that was substantial was Iraduku World in Colors, and even that wasn't that big of a
It
deal when
really
they got
wasn't. Yeah,
simulcast. Like no one
I,
cared
I,
about that. Yeah,
and
exactly. You
I
don't
don't
know
know.
about it probably because it was not on Crunchyroll, like we talked about. I
yeah,
think if it was on Crunchyroll, it'd be talked about a lot more. Same thing with what's another? But either way, we're getting off topic.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I also think that
I,
Netflix with that, I think people have made their voice like very clear that Netflix jail is not going to be a thing anymore. That people are so outraged that this practice even happens, and I understand it's because they want to release the sub and dub at the exact same time since Netflix is doing dubs now for shows. But I just think their process is so dumb, and I think they are listening to people who are like, no, just give us the show. Like you don't have
Yeah.
to like simulcast it, but like when the season is over, drop all 12 episodes or something like that. Because Dorohedro just got launched on Netflix like a few days ago, and that came out last season. It's like every season we get like the 3 month wait of
Carol and Tuesday
Car-
you had to wait forever to watch. It's not that I would have watched
Yep.
it myself, but like, you know, again, I remember people were just talking about how like I can't believe I'm pirating anime again in 2019. It's just like, well, like you honestly are and pirating anime because they had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they had literally no choice in the States to try and watch it any other way, and that's all because of Netflix being Netflix.
Netflix, I get it, but also I feel like Netflix is right now, in my opinion, like their dubs are great. Like Kakaguri had a great dub,
Yep.
Dore had a great dub, and I feel like I did initially watch like the first 2 episodes when it was in Netflix jail, and if I completed that series, I wouldn't have gone back and experienced it. And I feel like Netflix is one of the few like exclusive things where it's like that dub really makes a difference to me. So I get it, but like I don't know. It's I'm here and there. Isn't what's it in Netflix jail now too? The next big shonen they're talking about.
Oh, the rumor is Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be in
Yeah.
Netflix jail. Which, if that's the case, people are going to be so pissed because that is the
I've
big.
heard nothing about this.
Oh, that's the next Shonen Jump
Oh,
adaptation.
okay.
And
That's all I
so
need to
and
hear.
people
Yep.
are hyped on Jujutsu Kaisen.
I was so confused, man. When I
Lynn,
saw
fan
it.
of the show, fan of his show, that he has already claimed it as the one of the next big three for Shonen. So
Wow. That's
yeah, he has high praise for Jujutsu Kaisen. So it'll be really interesting to see if that show gets a Netflix show because that's gonna be pirated the shit out of. But last but not least, this has been my take. If you've seen previous episodes, I just straight up think Netflix is going to buy a studio and or create their own studio. So
Okay.
because Netflix loves doing things on their terms. Like
Yeah.
if they want something, they get it. For The Irishman, they wanted an Oscar. They spent $200 million on The Irishman, and I think Netflix is getting the numbers from Crunchyroll, seeing how many subs that they have, and they want that money. They want some. They want a piece of that pie, and they're getting good numbers with like Castlevania, which is not technically an anime, but like it's through their licensing studios. I
Yep.
think we're going to see. I don't know if it's this year, but I have my like conspiracy theory always is that Netflix is going to try taking over the anime game. They have the money to do it. They can do whatever they want on their platform since so many people can reach it. And I think that they're seeing that Crunchyroll. I think right now it's only reported that Crunchyroll has like 3 million subscribers, but they have like 80.
Really?
It's like 3 million subs, but like 80 million accounts. So
And viewers, right?
yeah, so it's like those viewers are watching ads or something like that, so they're still like making some form of revenue. I think Netflix is well aware that Crunchyroll is making a shit ton of money, and so I think that Netflix is going to start trying to take some of that away from Crunchyroll, and that's just my conspiracy theory. I will continue saying it because Netflix is the devil, but like jokingly, like the capitalistic devil, but like I think that they just love doing things on their own terms, and they're going to like buy like I can see them buying like Ufotable, and just that's Netflix Studios now.
That would be demonic.
Yeah, because like
That's
if Ufotable's owners be like, give me $50 million this year, Netflix is like, sure, all right, now make whatever anime that we want, because we
Now
can
give
buy
us
whatever
50.
rights we want to it, and that's my conspiracy theory. But that's not really like an Anime Expo thing or anything like that. That's just like my conspiracy theory going forward.
Yeah. No, I definitely. I don't even know when Anime Expo was supposed to be around the 4th of July, right?
4th
Isn't
of
that when-
July, yep. I had my
Yep, that's-
Airbnb, everything for it, and it got
Ah,
canceled.
Rest in peace. Big F for it.
Big F. F's in
that-
chat.
Yep.
Okay.
I can't make one either. I was thinking about it earlier. Like, how do I make it with my fingers? Like that.
Well,
I guess.
I forgot
don't
what
know.
F is in sign language.
Neither. Oh yeah, that wasn't even thinking like that. But yeah, that would have been a lot better. Too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But I was thinking more just outlandish predictions that I could see happening within the next year for anime, but especially like the Crunchyroll thing with Konosuba or Kyoto Annie coming back or whatever. Those were my main. I want to see them within the next few months, sort of things, because that's what I need. I need more Violet Evergarden.
Everyone watched the movie. Everyone watched that movie.
Mhm.
I was late. and I'm awake now. I'm awake. That movie was great.
All right, so let's get to
Okay.
final thoughts. Pat, do you have anything to say before we head off? Anything that came to your mind within the last 15 seconds?
No Game, No Life Season 2, baby.
Right
Give
on.
it to me. Yeah, no. Other than that, no. Just everything I just said. Just
And
keep it going.
Haz, do you want to say anything? Maybe give a shout out for like your music and stuff.
Oh yeah, I make music. SoundCloud.com/HazTik.
Yeah, check
Yay.
them out.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Join our anime club.
Oh yeah, we have a
That's
Discord. Join our
that's my
Discord.
shout out. Mr. Moderator himself is here. Join our Discord. Join us if you like our trash takes and our hot opinions. I mean, we're watching the world famous Bakemonogatari right now, and that's going to be our next like session of our anime club. You know, we've done shows like Princess Principal and Made in Abyss. We're having a great time with it. Shout out Miles. Miles and I are doing our best to make it as enjoyable for everybody as possible, while also being open and inviting. Join us. It's going to be so
Yeah,
much fun. I know Hastic, you're planning on joining us for the next session. You haven't yet, but it's a really good
Yeah.
time. And once again, thank you to Pete for giving us the platform for it as well.
yeah, it's open to everybody. You just have to join Discord. If you don't want to be on the video, that's fine. You can just discuss it. Follow us on Twitter. What do you say, Annie? That'll be the link. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for checking out our random ass prediction episode. And we'll see you in like 9 days for Anime Watch Club. See you guys.
Peace.
Later.